Our sense of how much leverage we have in the job market is often directly related to our employment situation. When people plan to stay in their current jobs, they often assume they wouldn't be able to earn much more if they leave. Those considering a move may be convinced that they could increase their earnings quite a bit with a job change. And those who are already in the throes of transition may find it hard to believe they merit any salary increase at all, or that they could influence the benefits package for a new job. Does this mean that bargaining power is in the eye of the beholder, so to speak? If that's the case, it makes sense to head into the market with a positive expectation of success so that you can approach negotiating with confidence. Consider the following points to shape a point of view that will help you be more comfortable and optimistic about pursuing a better offer. Their first offer is likely not their best. When you're buying a house or used car, do you make your best offer right out of the gate? Of course not. Most people expect that some negotiating will take place and build some wiggle room into their strategy. Employers are no different, and they've likely taken that into account when crafting their initial offer. They might be surprised if you don't negotiate. Particularly at mid to upper salary levels, negotiation is often an expected part of the process. In other words, they might be surprised, even shocked, if you accept their first offer. Employers want to get this over with too. Those of you who have been involved in hiring know how expensive it is in terms of time and money. If you don't accept the job, they'll have to work their way down the list of runners-up who, by definition, are less attractive than you are and have even higher expectations than you do. And if that doesn't work, they have to start the whole process over. Not a very attractive prospect. They can't read your mind. If the initial offer is not entirely pleasing to you in every way, your reaction might be that there's something wrong. That perhaps this employer or role isn't a good match for you, that they don't get you. That's a natural reaction, but it can be self-sabotaging. You're assuming that the employer knows exactly what you want. They don't and shouldn't be expected to. Even if you had some discussions about your salary expectations, they may be simply offering you an initial figure to get the conversation started and gauge your reaction. Presenting a slightly stripped down offer allows them to assess your needs and craft a package that fits, while being judicious about spending the company's money and resources. You can't blame a guy for asking or a girl for trying. Part of your negotiating anxiety is probably based on the fear that the employer will be put off or even pull out of the offer from the table. This is highly unlikely. Besides, would you really want to work for a company that did that? Although you may not have much experience with negotiating, most employers are used to it and take it in strides. Typically, the worst-case scenario is that they'll simply say no and the offer remains open, awaiting your decision. Ask and you just might receive. Sometimes employers are quite willing to meet your needs, but since they don't know what it was, they didn't build it into the offer. Occasionally, they may simply forget to tell you about a certain benefit, even though it's standard policy. You might be pleasantly surprised how accommodating they can be once you voice your concerns. They want you to take the job. Why wouldn't they? You're the best candidate they've seen. How do you know? They made you an offer. That very act says that you're the cream of the crop, or they would have offered the job to someone else. They want to make you happy. Yes, believe it or not, they really do. Who wants to bring someone on board who's constantly wondering if they could have gotten a better deal or who is dissatisfied before they even start to work? They're competing for you now. Although most of the job search is spent competing with other candidates, Once the employer extends an offer, they are now competing for you. Up until now, you were the seller and they were the buyer. Now, they are the seller and you are the buyer. And they're not just competing with any other current offers you have. If they're smart, they realize that they're competing with all other employers who may consider you in the near future. A radical thought? You might actually be worth more. Certainly, salary research can confirm this possibility. But what keeps some people from even thinking they have any business expecting higher compensation is a deep-seated feeling that they don't deserve to ask. Humility is indeed a virtue, but this is a business deal and you deserve to be compensated well. Commiserate with your experience and skill. Take a good hard look at your resume and drive it into your bones that you really do bring a lot to the table and that you really are worth something in the marketplace. With your empowering point of view, some research, and a good strategy, it is very likely that you will succeed in improving any original compensation package you are offered.